Disclaimer. The information and education material contained herein is meant to promote the general understanding and dialogue of GAN's processing. Such information is not meant or intended to serve as a substitute for a healthcare professional's clinical training, experience, or judgment. For patients and individuals, such information is not to be a substitute for professional medical, therapeutic, or healthcare advice or counseling. For medical issues or concerns, including decisions about medications and other treatments, readers, viewers, listeners should always consult their physician or, in serious cases, seek immediate assistance from emergency personnel. Prescription information, procedures, and use of medical devices information should be undertaken only by properly trained and certified medical personnel. We specifically disclaim any warranties, express or implied, including implied warranties of merchantability or fitness for a particular purpose. Such information is provided, as is, and is believed to be accurate at the time of its publishing, but it is the viewer's job to evaluate the accuracy of any information found in this presentation. Every case presented is of their own experience, applied by themselves for themselves, and it applies to their case only. Every person experiencing health problems should seek professional medical advice and consult their course of treatment with a doctor. The processes of plasma balancing described herein are a natural process which supports the body but does not replace medical advice or therapies one is already subject to.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 386th Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, June 24th, 2021. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute Education Department and part of the Public Teachings in English. My name is Rick Crammond. I'll be a host today, along with Dean at the KF studios in Austria, and I believe we're ready to begin today's workshop with Mr. Mehran Keshe of the Keshe Foundation, who will be delivering today's news and teachings. Hello, Mr. Keshe. Are you ready to begin?
Good morning to you. Good day. As usual, whenever you listen to this series of Knowledge Seekers of the Keshe Foundation. We are back here, another session of learning from each other and teaching with each other, and in a progressive way, reaching to a higher level of understanding about the truth about our own creation and created. In the past weeks, we have concentrated on understanding the process of the work of the soul of the man, understanding the functionality of it, how we use it in interaction with the soul of physicality of the man, and how the physicality of the man reacts to interaction of the two souls. In the last weeks, we tried to open the door in now how our soul interacts with the soul of the others. How would we communicate with those who are beyond the, what we call physical dimension of the, what I call a structure of the humanity. We were known these things for a long time. Some people call them horse whisperers. They can communicate with horses, with animals. They can understand their feeling, their emotion. No need for language. Man communicates through the soul with the soul of the animal or others, because at that level there is no language. We translate the emotion of the soul to the emotion of the physicality and understanding and comprehension of the man to the level of his own, what we call dimension of physicality. What has become part of the whole teaching is, in fact, what's the next step for humanity? If we can feel, if we can dictate, if we can bring a condition where we can feel the other soul and our soul of physicality in interaction with the physical dimensions of the brain of the man, we convert it to the language which we understand. We all have the same dream. The Chinese feels it and understands it in Chinese. The Englishman listens to the same thing in his language, and so does an Iranian in Farsi. What does this mean? It means the brain of the man is just a translation system. We translated words by using new systems. Our brain has been translating every work of the universe to the dimension of understanding of the man, and man understood it in his own language. When we look at the moon, we think, what a beautiful moon. If you are English, in the English language. The same Chinaman next to us is standing, looking at the moon and thinks exactly the same. He understands it in English and in Chinese, and at the same time, he only decides to accept the Chinese version because his brain is set for the translation of understanding of the emotion of it. What does this mean? This means that mankind has one common denominator in emotion. We all understand the same thing, and when it comes to the mother language which we chose to translate it to the emotion. But what happens when you're born in one corner of the planet or another position in the universe, and when you take place and take position in another dimension in the universe, the same things, the thoughts, the way you translate the language is the language that you chose in the dimension to be. We live in England, but born in Iran, but we still nowadays dream in the English language. The Farsi is far, far removed from the language of understanding. So it means the brain of the man has the capability to translate within itself the languages. It has the capability to interact in that language between the soul of the man and the soul of the physicality of the man. This is what, in the coming time, mankind will come to understand, as the brain of the man in the dimension of universe will have no physicality. We will understand the language of every being in the universe, as our brain simultaneously will translate from that emotion, from the source, from the interaction of the fields of the universe. This is part of the teaching of today. How do we interact with each other? As I said many times and in the recent past, how do the children in the womb of their mother interact with each other? How Chinese little child and an Englishman little child and an Iranian little child, being one of few days old, understand each other fully without knowing which language they have to speak or think about. This is the reality that man, in the coming time, sitting next to a man from another dimension in the universe has to do. How do we understand them? And how do we decide to understand the totality of the knowledge of the universe? In so many ways, if a baby, an infant, can say to another infant, "This is my arm, do you like it?" Would the same thing apply in the dimension of universe, where the physicality of the being in that dimension have no hand? What does it mean? It doesn't mean that it's a tool that I can move things with. You call it a hand because you have a finger. I do it with thoughts or maybe 10 arms. But I don't need to show it with your physicality. I just need to transfer the knowledge of the motion of the material and the tool which makes it to move, which is my arm. In so many ways, do we need to even have the physicality of the arm to move? If man can understand, he can create dimension of the attraction in a physical dimension that the weaker, by feeding the stronger, or by the stronger becoming more attractive, to attract an object. In so many ways, in the past, many of the human race have done this, but we never understood. Many of us have the capability, once we break through this barrier, that in a way, you put a cup in front of you, and what do? You make yourself humbler than a cup. In feeding you, it connects you. And then you increase the gravity that I can give you so much more that it attracts to get more to come to you. What we call gravitation, what we call repulsion, or a magnetic field. Magnetical fields are the connection between the two dimensions of understanding of interaction of the souls. And when it comes to the space technology, we do the same in traveling in different dimensions of the universe. When you want to go to the moon, you tune to the strength of the gravitational fields of the moon and the heartbeat of the moon. Fall in love with me, you come to me. In so many ways, mankind has to learn a new dimension, a new understanding, a new way to be able to communicate and be able to bring a new dimension in totality of the understanding of the knowledge of the universe. I taught this in Barletta, and I remember a couple of our students sitting in the front line, a couple from Spain, when I was trying to teach it, and I thought it's too early, they do not understand. I could see the guy pushing his face, wanting to move the cup in front of him on the table, and he was doing everything. And I said, you don't need to do anything. You just got to fall in love with, or to create a dimension of attraction that he gets attracted to you. It was hard for the students at that time to understand, some 6 years ago, that you do not ever try to force your will. You attract through the dimension of the attraction of the field forces, in understanding the totality, in understanding the consequences and what will be the outcome of the totality which counts, not in how and the way you try to bring it in dimension of physicality. It's the souls which brings the matter in dimensions of existence together. In so many ways, we have to realize us in the body of the man has the capabilities which has never considered to be possible. But it's us who have denied us to use these capabilities. We do not need the headphones and electronics. We can listen to every corner of this universe if we know how to tap to it. If you see a light as a star, if you are tuned to it, you can hear the voice of inhabitants of that planet, that star in your ear, in the soul of your ear, not in the physical ear of the man. And then the soul of the physicality in conjunction with the physicality of the brain of the man will translate it into your language, what one guy is saying to the other. We wait and we build the most advanced technology telescopes to see what it could be in the far distance of the universe, where our soul has already have a connection. We have a full vision of it, but we have denied ourselves the access to it. In so many ways, the brain of the man is used less than 1 millionth of its capability of the intellect of the universe. We use our brain totally for physical understanding of the physical world of the man. But the main part of our brain, which has the soul of the same thing, is denied to show itself. You got to remember one word, one sentence, which you always say, even a stone has a soul. So if one cell of your brain has a soul, a strength of the emotion of the joy, then it has access to all the joys in the universe, not only to the man and your physical dimension. In so many ways, it's us who has denied the truth about the life of the man to himself, that he's a member of the universal community. As I said last time, you were waiting for us to take us to universal community in the dimension of physicality, but you never realize that your soul has been member of the universal community from the time of inception, from the time of the creation, from the time when everything was created. Within the soul of the man is carried the knowledge of the universe. Within the soul of the man, the knowledge has a connection to the physicality of the man, but the soul of the physicality has denied man access to this. How do we raise the soul of the physicality to allow the physical dimensions of the soul of every particle, every cell of the brain of the man to open up, to give it access to the knowledge of totality? In so many ways, when one captures the other becomes prisoner of its own capture. In a way, when you have a prison officer looking after a prisoner, he is imprisoned himself, that he has spent all his time to make sure the prisoner stays a prisoner. And this is what has happened to the soul of the man, to the soul of physicality of the man, and to the dimension of the physical man. It's time to release the prisoner and what I call the prison officer, that each can live in the freedom of the life. No one shall be the prisoner of the other, but coexist to make sure that it lives in total tranquility, that no one ever imprisons another. This is the problem with the whole structure of the understanding of the life of the man on this planet. We always look at the dimension of physicality. We never considered that the soul of the man itself sits within every cell of the man, which has the capability to translate every emotion of the universe, not only the emotion of the man. Mankind in time will come to understand how much and how far and for how long he has denied himself the truth about his own existence, his own capability to become rich, as he is totally and utterly rich with the true knowledge of the universe. We look for universities and schools to graduate in a minor, meager subject, where our soul and the soul of the physicality of the man and the soul of every cell of the brain of the man is already professor in every subject and every matter in the universe. In so many ways, we have decided through the progressive, that called greed of physicality, to deny more and more the dimension of the interaction of the work of the soul of the man. In so many ways, how would you do that? How can we open access to the soul of the every cell of our brain? Through it, we can have access to every emotion, every information in the universe. In so many ways, we have done a frog leap. We leapfrogged right across the whole dimension to go through the physicality, making UFOs, and then letting man, like other creatures of the universe, spend billions of years in the universe, traveling in little boxes and hoping to get there, and then go through a lot of accidents and incidents that one day will get to understand the truth about the creation, where not only the man, but most of the universal community have denied themselves the truth about their own existence. The man who comes out of that UFO is as much the prisoner of his own prison as the man who's hoping to be in that UFO, because now your knowledge has reached that point. But there is more knowledge for the man beyond the UFO, beyond flight, beyond understanding of the physical dimension of the movement. So when you look at the UFO and you think they're so advanced compared to knowledge of the man, you have to understand they are themselves still entrapped in the body of that prison, the prisoner and the prison guard, but in a different dimension. In reality, the whole teaching is to bring even the soul of that man in the UFO to the level of the soul of understanding of the man himself on this planet, and then all together to understand the operation of the soul of the Creator. In so many ways, mankind has reached a point of maturity. You can track it down in the dimension of physicality and hope you see something nice, and travel the span of the universe and universe, like all these UFOs you see in the stars. And as we told, the United States is going to release the 3 new pictures about the UFOs at the end of this month or in the coming time. But even if you have it, you're still dealing with another object. You're still dealing with another dimension of the prisoner within the prison cell of what I call physicality. Mankind, who by flying the span of the universe, has not reached much, will not reach much. Do we change when we travel with a donkey from London to Paris, or we take a flight from London to Paris? At the end of it, it's the same entity. It will be the same. We just add another fast object for our travel in the span of the universe. But we never understand the true flight of the what we call fancy, which is a travel in the dimension of the ways and the rules of the Creator. This is why we taught you to jump one further step. That not only you join those who understand the work of the UFOs, but you join those who have already passed that position and they have gone to a more direct way to fly the span of the universe, to feel every essence of the creation, the joy of creation, and the sorrow of the losses of accident. In so many ways, the choice is yours. But how do you do this? And how you develop it, the structure of the physicality of the man, is not your problem. It's our problem to show you how to open to these dimensions. As I said, the totality of the teaching, the pinnacle of the final phases of this will come when we reach Tehran. And in that process, we will teach you the totality. The reason for it, that the key to world peace for humanity is the agreement which will reach in Tehran with other nations at totality. We bring the banner of peace through knowledge and exchange for the technology of the universe and not just the UFO. Maybe you thought that would be the only option, but in fact, the option is one. For us to understand the work of our own physicality in the dimension of the souls. Up to now, we always understood the dimension of physicality, we ignore the souls. Now, as we have said, we create the soul of the man first, and then his physicality. Now it's time for the physicality to be encapsulated by the beauty of the knowledge of the universe, that every cell of the man connects to its appropriate line of interaction with every cell of the universe. In a way, when you receive a field from a star, part of that field carries the strength of the joy of that star. Is it in pain? Is its inhabitants correct? That in a way the star has its own life and protects and provides fairly and correctly and is in trouble. In a way, every ray of light carries every emotion of that star. It's for us to understand, to decipher. And within the cell of the brain of the man, within the cell of the structure of the physicality of the man, when you take the amino acid away and you look at the brain of the man as collection of ganses in a field energy of the soul, then you understand man has already been knowledgeable to this. We ignored it. In a way, when we talked about the ganses, and then we explained that the structure of every soul sits within the structure of the physicality of the cell of the man, now you understand how easy mankind has denied itself the beauty of the Creator. We always looked into the dimension of understanding and the conversion of the fields of physicality. I touch, it's warm, goes to my brain, it says it can burn. Physicality, emotion of the heat. But now, with creating the soul of the child within the womb of the mother, we allow the reverse, where the soul of the child interacts with the soul of every cell, and with it, the soul of the child interacts with the whole soul of the universe. Then the dimension of physicality decides its own dimension. Do I need to have 10 arms? Do I need 2 legs? Do I need the eyesight where in this dimension, the strength I carry see everything through? In a way, mankind has every tool of existence within its grasp, always been there, now knows the way to do. The totality of the process of the conversion of the soul of the man, the energies of the soul of the man, sits within the acceptance of the truth by the man himself about the existence of life in the universe and nothing else. You do not need degrees in theology, and you do not need a degree in nuclear physics to understand this. The theology of life is understanding the structure of life, in the essence, the true essence of the field transfers and the magnetic field transformation and transmutation, and its strength at every point. You got to realize you might not feel cold on this side of the wall, but on the other side of the wall could be snow and freezing. How do you keep yourself inside, or you decide to be outside? And the wall is just the infantasy imagination of the man in understanding that the both air of both sides is the same. Is the man who decides in which temperature he likes to enjoy the living and the life. In so many ways, mankind, to the dimension of its amino acid, has already become, was born in the dimension of the universal community. But he looks at the physicality of the brain. He never looks as the soul of the brain. Every cell of, go back again. Every atom has a soul. Every proton has a soul. Every electron has a soul. And if that's the case of it, according to its existence, to be there, to exist in the dimension of physicality, the gas that you produce has a soul within it. And that soul is connected to the totality of the fields of the universe. In a way, for the first time when you see a single gas, is one single brain of your body that is connected to totality of the fields of the universe. How come you can see and accept that, but you cannot accept or understand the work of single cell within the brain of the man? In so many ways, one is green gas and one is blue gas. One is laughter, one is joy. Another one is red, is the danger to the understanding of the man. In so many ways, our field transfer interaction in the dimension of the gases in the past years has been a visualization of the field, the strength of the emotion of the universe. In the world of the what we call matter physics, we say the entity absorbs every light, a strength, frequency, or whatever, and what it does not accept, it reflects. Then you'll be orange or blue. So it's the same with a gas transformation. What you see as a gas of blue is that level of the joy within the cell of the brain of the man. This is the reality about what we have to understand from now on, that in totality, we do not look at the physicality. Now you understand why for past year I've been pushing you to understand the interaction of the fields. Now look at the structure of your brain as individual souls collectively connected to every dimension in the universe. Do you need a PhD or do you need a jumbo jet to be able to understand it and to be able to travel within it, understand it, that you don't need to travel as it's instantaneous, and its totality, it sits within the structure of the physicality of the. We have denied the knowledge of the creation within us, and this has cost the man millions of years. But you have to understand, other races in the universe who reach to this level of understanding, they don't have universities, nuclear bombs, or jumbo jets, or donkeys. They understood through observation of the work of the universe. That's what I said many times before. A farmer on the top of Himalaya understands more about the creation by looking into the stars and the universe than a professor in the space universities and NASA and Iranian Space Agency or the rest, because he understands the true knowledge of the creation, not what has been written on a few pieces of paper that he has entrapped himself with a few words of PhD and stupidity. In so many ways, we have decided to become more and more narrow-minded in the dimension of physicality, that those who did not understand more in the dimension of creation. Maybe one day, mankind becomes mature to understand this. And from that point on, mankind will take the flight of fancy and fly across the universe. And then, when I tell you I've been to such and such a position and I've seen such and such a position, then you can give it the exact position and address by emotion and feel the strength. You want to go and see the beauties of the temple of Mitra in Iran, with the emotion, with the dimension, they will carry their souls to the same position. They do not need to take a flight of fancy. They do not take into planes and donkeys and cars to get there. With the emotion, with the strength of it, they will manifest themselves, enjoy the scenery, and they come back to tell you, did you see that one there? You missed it. And they don't need weeks to take a flight, but they are there instantaneously, or both of you can be present with each other in both dimensions. These are not the dreams. These are ways that we are trying to teach you to mature about the truth about the world of creation. This is why we brought in the new gift to mankind to create the soul of the child within the womb of the mother first. That from the beginning, every single cell of the soul of the brain of the man is connected, operated, and understands the knowledge of the universe, not to be born, to go to school, and to be taught the knowledge of physicality of the man. In so many ways, mankind has entered a new era. In so many ways, by the birth of Mitra, we have brought the knowledge of creation through the light, through understanding that the soul of the man in dimension of travel to every corner of the universe will travel in the dimension of the light, according to his time, the position, and the speed, and the strength. In so many ways, mankind will come to understand that he always has been in a position to understand this, and he has called it a dream. Now we don't dream anymore. We understand how the dreams are created. We understand the truth about the dimension of the dream, that in fact is the reality in the dimension of the attraction of the fields of the soul of the man, which in somehow gets trapped in the dimension of physicality of the amino acid of the man, and the soul of that amino acid translates it to the dimension of visuality and emotion, to the dimension of physicality of the man. My knowledge is born at the time of inception. My knowledge is not given to me through the universities and degrees over the physical dimension of years and narrow-mindedness to understand less, but claim more. As I said many times, the greed of the man and the ignorance of the man has become like a French dish. As you go to the French restaurants, the smaller plate and the smaller food becomes more expensive to pay, but has no value and does not fulfill the man. And in so many ways, mankind has trapped himself this narrowness of single-minded understanding of the physicality, then opening the soul of the man in the totality of the knowledge of the universe. For this reason, we have created for the first time the soul of the man first to lead to the creation of the physicality of the man. This is how Mitra appeared to mankind in the first time. But in the dimension of physical interaction, the mankind, what was created of the beauty of his light, got entangled in the dimension of physicality. It got entangled in understanding the totality of the creation. It got entangled and entrapped itself within a prison of earth, with a prisoner to be the earth itself, to look after its own prison. No one has ever trapped man to this dimension, except man himself, with the dimension of the greed of physicality. In so many ways, we come to understand the emotion of the man and the dream of the man are the graduates of the work of the universe. But mankind has translated it back to the language of English or Chinese or Farsi through the dimension of physicality of its amino acid. This is why we are connected to every other creature on this planet, because we are all made of the same amino acid in different strength, but arranged in different ways, that one become a man, one become a plant, one become a fish, and one become the stone. In so many ways, in the coming time, we'll teach you to understand the difference between the inertia of the dimension of physical motion and the dimension of physical statistic, or what we call static motion. When the soul decides to live in a static condition, you call it a stone. When you bring that stone and you give it the soul of the amino acid, that stone will walk, that stone will talk, that stone will cry. And this is why sometimes they say, when a stone cries, because within that stone exists the impression and the soul of the amino acid of this planet. One day, I show man that I put every stone on the table and I make every single one of them cry. Because you remember what you did with the orange and the water. You created the dimension of the gas, and then you created the taste and the flavor of that of the fruit in the water. The stone has a soul. And with the transformation of the pain of the physicality of the man, which the stone become the cup, the stone shall cry. Now you understand. Everything is not magic, but understanding of it is the truth about the world of existence. And in time, mankind will come to understand that your manifestation of life on every position and dimension in the universe is position, strength, field, emotion dependent. Then you understand not only the soul has a soul, but the soul has a connection to the emotion of the universe. Now you understand the knowledge. Now you understand the truth about the creation. Then it comes to one point. How would you like to manifest yourself in another dimension as a man who's a killer, who's a murderer, and he destroys everything through the dimension of his physicality? It's time for mankind to walk away from animosity and killing. And it's time for man to understand the transformation and transportation through the strength of the soul, of the physicality of the amino acid of the man is trapped on this planet. And this is why the universal community has created such a protection against human race to stop this transformation of the fields at the strength of the animosity and killing. That has been the pitfall. That has been the downfall for man to be able to enter in a dimension of the universal community to understand the language, the emotion, and the essence of creation. As I said, world peace is the cornerstone of opening of the universe to man. We don't open and bring UFOs for you. In finding peace, in understanding that the killing has to stop within the soul of the man's physical dimension and the physicality of the man, you open the universe to yourself. In so many ways, mankind needs to be kind to himself first before he meets another kind of man in the universe. In so many ways, humanity has to understand and ingrain within the structure of its physicality, the soul of physicality, the dimension of the soul of universe, for it to be able to join the universal community. In a way, as I said many times before, this planet is part of the universe. It's never been out of it. Man kept himself out of it and was hoping to join in it. In so many ways, mankind reaches to the power of understanding of the totality of the universe. I am with Mitra, and the love of Mitra is untouchable. In so many ways, mankind lives within the soul of existence. Mankind lives with his own dilemma of transmutation between the two. As I said before, they said transmutation of the elements is the point of the maturity of the man. And I said transmutation between the energies, the fields, the magnetic fields in motion is the maturity, the point of the total maturity of the man, where man can transmute between the soul of the man and the soul of physicality of the man and the soul of the cell of the brain of the man, where the dimension of the physicality of the soul of the man in the amino acid will become nothing but the packages of the energies which can be used and is the energy source for transmutation between the all three dimensions of the soul of physicality, the soul of the man, and the soul of the what we call the emotion of every cell of the brain of the man. Then the question comes, does the man, understanding this, does he need the physical entity of the arm or a leg or a heart? Then this comes to one point. Has your soul, in created by the interaction of the physicality, has decided to keep the body of the man in the physical prison of the earth? And when it reaches the point of maturity of the strength, it takes the flight into another dimension, that it becomes the soul of another star. In a way, the soul of the man has used the dimension of the physicality and the soul of the what we call emotion of the man to feed itself in the background to the point of maturity. That when it matures to that point, we call it the point of death, the end of physical dimension, as the soul of the man has no more need for the essence of the fields to bring him to that point, to become that the star, to become that shining light, to become the seed of a star in another dimension in the universe. Understanding the theology is understanding the truth about the creator and the creation, but in the dimension of the soul of the man, not with the books of the man, which has been falsely claim to be the theology of the universe, of understanding of the creation and the creator. In so many ways, man has opened himself by himself to the views of his emotional soul. And in so many ways, mankind in the coming time will understand how he has chosen to be a prisoner on this planet by himself. Not only prison in this planet, but is imprisoned in the body of the physicality of the man, where in the process of understanding the world of creation, mankind has become to be mature, to understand the totality of about his own creation. The point of birth is not the point when you manifest yourself from the womb of the point of birth is the time when the soul of the man is created first in the womb of the mother. Smaller environment for it to mature, that when it comes out, it has the decision to make to which dimension to live. In the physical dimension, or the dimension of the soul, the totality, where the brain, every cell of the brain of the child in the womb of the mother is a line of communication to every emotion of the universe. Mankind waits for the physical manifestation of the birth, but the birth of the soul of the man is completed within the womb of the mother. And this, once understood, will give a different dimension to giving birth to a child in the dimension of physicality of not only this planet, but every corner of the universe. You can get pregnant on Earth and give birth to the child who will have the dimension and the physicality of another dominion and dimension in the universe. In a way, you can be born in England if you are from an English mother and father, but you can be conceived as a soul of the man in England from English mother and father. But when you're born in China, you will look like a Chinaman. This is the beauty of the creation, that you fit into the society according to the balance of the soul. Then there will be no racism. Then there will be no dimension of the animosity to the color, to the race, or the language. In a way, when you move out of China and you come to England, you will look white, but the soul is the same, the soul of understanding is the same. Then there is no word called foreigner. There is no aliens amongst us because we are part of the totality and we cannot alienate ourselves from the totality unless we decide to look as an Englishman within the Chinese society. And then we have to ask why. Are we looking for attention, or are we looking to call ourselves different? Then that is a totally different point of view. This is a totally different structure of understanding of the operation and need of the soul of the man. Don't forget, the woman who is so beautiful is the one who is more in need of attention and emotion. Because by beauty attracts more attention, takes energy from the others. So is the same with the child who is born in any condition different than us, whatever you might call, because that soul needs that attention, that direct one-to-one attention, where a beautiful woman needs the direction of collection of the totality of the emotion of the public. In so many ways, we have to ask ourselves why and the reason we are created, in which shape or form we are created, and what has been the need and the demand by our soul that has led to the physical manifestation of us in that color, in that race, and in that shape of the eye, in that height and the rest. Otherwise, all the souls are the same. They don't have a different heights and different eye color and legs and arms. In so many ways, today's teaching is to understand what I call essence of the creation, what you call in the language the ethics, the theology of the creation and the created, and how mankind himself has created this trap for himself to be trapped in the dimension of physicality of the man, in the dimension of the prison of earth, in the dimension of trying to ignore itself, the truth. It takes only 1 second for you to understand the teaching of today, and you'll be mature to travel the span of the universe and still be in the dimension of physicality of the man. Then the knowledge of the universe shall be opened up to you, and you do not need any languages. You do not need any physical dimension of manifestation, but you only understand the totality of the creation in 1 second. Then you understand the purpose of the creation, not only on this planet, but in the universe, in the unicosmos, and within the soul of the Creator. As if you understood what was taught today, you understand that your physical, total physical existence itself is another self in the dimension of the emotion of the Creator. In so many ways, he feels through you the dimension that you have chosen to manifest or befriend yourself with it. You are part of it, and it is part of you. You are the soul of the physicality dimension of the soul of the man, and he is the soul of the creation. And the interaction between him and you leads to the soul of the physicality of the man, which manifests itself in the dimension of physicality of the man. I hope, and my wish, is that at least one of you will understand the gravity of the knowledge, and with it, you will pass this through to the other souls of the humanity, that mankind as a totality of all matures in one goal. But as I said, mankind has to walk away from the killing and destruction, be it a tree, be it an ant, be it another man, be it the race, or whatever. You will not travel outside the prison, physical part of the body of the man, and out of the prison of this planet, until and unless you understand the truth about the essence of the creation, the created in the dimension of the soul of existence, and not matter of the physicality of existence. You have denied yourself the knowledge through the greed of physicality, and that's what I always said. I'm detached, because attachment brings that shortness, that shortfall, that short understanding of the totality. Nothing matters, but in totality, if you're detached in the dimension of physicality, you work to the dimension of the soul of the man. And then in that dimension, you work through the soul of the cell of the brain of the man, which carries and confirms the emotion between the soul of physicality and the soul of the man. I have made the man in the image of myself. In fact, mankind cannot be any different than me, and it's mankind who has chosen the path of the dimension of manifesting itself in the physical dimension, and with it, all the abuses that he has used to abuse the others. In so many ways. I hope gradually I bring you to understand the strength of your soul. I hope I bring you to the point to understand that you do not need the UFOs, as even them, they're still searching for the soul and knowledge of the creation as you have been for millions of years. In a way, as I said, when I teach the word of the man, but through the knowledge of the soul of the man, my knowledge is transferred to every created things in the universe. I am the message. And in that message is one word: created through the interaction of these fields of soul of the universe, and not through the dimension of the physicality of the universe. And one day, not only my message will be heard by the man and the soul of the man, but by those in the universe who hope to reach the position that mankind is now. They are nothing in any different position than you, than understanding, trying to understand how to reach the soul of the Creator. We taught the man and the rest of the created things in the universe simultaneously, that in that process there shall be no difference amongst the children of the Creator across the universe. In so many ways, mankind has to come to understand it has been given an opportunity to jump one step, that it becomes equal to those who was his wish to see in the dimension of the traveling, the physical dimension of the universe. And then the mankind has given another chance to jump even one further to those who have even surpassed those who thought building UFOs was the ultimate knowledge of the seeing the universe. In so many ways, you have frog wit, and in so many ways, through that, we have managed to teach not only the mankind, but many races who are in this gap to come all to be the same. That when you all meet, you don't look as how stupid we were. You look and you reach that we are all the same now together. And this brings a new dimension to the world of the Creator. That mankind will understand the purpose of this education in a coming time, in a dimension of field transfers of its own energy. It's taken time, but it's been a pleasurable time to see how the universe has developed itself and will develop itself. And in so many ways, we wish to understand. We strive to understand the totality of the knowledge of the Creator, but even what we teach today still has more to be taught. Mankind has to understand the further dimension, even when you travel and understand the work of the dimension of the soul of the man, the soul of the emotion of the man, and the soul of the physicality of the man. In so many ways, the soul of emotion is that light. The soul of the physicality of the man is the creation of matter, and the soul of the man is the origin of the universe, origin of the creation. And mankind up to now has worked from outside in. And from now on, we have taught you to work from inside out. Up to now, you brought the physicality of the sperm and an egg to create physical child. From now on, man has the option to create in the dimension of the soul first, that within the womb of the mother, the physicality will take shape. The children of the man will be peaceful children. The children of the man will know nothing about killing him. The children of the man will how to travel the dimension of the universe without UFOs, without flying objects, but through the strength of their soul. This is a gift for those who understand the process. And those who will not understand will still carry on creating children, which will be unfair, killing machines, and the process of destruction as man has seen today. In so many ways, the race of the man will start splitting in two ways. Those who mature enough to create the children through the strength of the soul at the point of conception in the womb of the mother, and those who create children in the dimension of physicality. And then they still have to strive one day to become mature to the dimension of the first. In so many ways, the knowledge of the man now is in the hand of the man. It's the parents, the creator of the children, which will decide the steps. And then we want to see how many of you would decide to go for the physical dimension creation or to the soul dimension, that the children of you will become the best in the universe. As I said in the teachings and in intro, we say man cares about what the child wears and what education takes, Now the parents have to decide if they want that education to be the universal education or the burden of physical life on this planet. Now we understand that the responsibility of the creating the initial soul of the child lies on the parents to create, collect, and bring the best fields of the universe, that when the soul at the point of inception created within the womb of the mother is a perfect soul. It's a perfect collection of the fields of the universe that by its interaction, it creates that perfect child. And this is all the essence and the love of Mitra. One day mankind will understand this. Within the womb of the Mitra's life, we created the essence of the creation. And that is the creator love, as to be about to create a new phase in the life of the universe. And mankind is the key to that change. Is the key to the elevation of the soul of the universe by, as we said, Earth is the nursery of life, nursery of the seeds of that beautiful flower, which is sown in the universe to create new cycle. In so many ways, mankind will come to understand we are here for a purpose. And that purpose is to allow man to move from the dimension of creation of life in the dimension of physicality to the dimension of the soul from the beginning, that our work in the universe, in running the affairs of the interaction of the fields, is perfect from the inception of every star. And the condition created will never create storms of anger or killing, or storms of not understanding, which has become part of the habit of the souls which have left this planet unmature, uneducated, attached to the dimension of physicality. This is why the essence of the creation changes to the creation of the soul of the child first, then the physicality of the man first. Very soon, many of you will understand. We open the doors of heaven to mankind in Tehran. In time, that time will come that the man will be enlightened with the knowledge of the universe, and the whole structure of the creation shall change. In so many ways, we open the door of the knowledge through the strength of the soul of the man, and not to the dimension of the physicality of man, and some mere few words which man has chosen to put in front of his name. As we said, when we finish, there shall be no king but the true king, which is the creator. The rest are servants on his staff. No man will wear the flag of kingship or leadership except understanding the true connection between the true leader of the creation, which is the creator himself. In a way, we do not take knowledge from the others, as we do not take orders from the others, but we live in harmony with the strength of the knowledge of the creator. Many of you will understand this very soon, and many of you are still be in the what I call sleep time of humanity, because the ignorance is the best solution for those who try to ignore the reality about their own existence. I hope with today's teaching, I open a new dimension in the school of thought of the man, and not in the school of the education of the books of the man. As from now on, mankind will take a new dimension in understanding the truth about the soul of himself, about the soul of his emotion, about the soul of his physicality. Then the dimension of the physicality will have no relevance, as is only the interaction of the three fields together in the interaction of the inertia of the environment, which will lead to the dimension of physical creation. We'll go for a break. When we come back, I hope some of you are matured in that path of understanding, and by putting points across, by questioning the truth, will allow the others and the totality of us to mature one step further in the dimension mission and direction of what I call interaction of the soul of the man in understanding the position of the man in the universe and where the mankind shall go. Can we go for a break, please? And we come back.
Okay, very good, Mr. Keshe. Thank you for that teaching. Okay, we'll take a short break here with the 386 Knowledge Seekers Workshop and be back in a few minutes with questions from our attendees and from the social media. Okay, thank you.
Rick, hi, it's Dean. Can you hear me? The system here has suddenly decided to have a little problem, and I can't operate. Everything's just seized up, so I might have to close everything down and restart.
Okay.
There's nothing I can do. I've tried everything. The whole system
Yes,
completely stopped.
I had the same problem myself, and in fact, my whole internet provider's out right now. So,
yep. So I might have to stop everything. I'm sorry, and restart again. There's nothing I can do. The system has just folded on itself. Just so you know.
Yeah, I wonder if I can. Let me see if I can find the ads or something I can play in the meantime here.
Thank you, Rick.
Before you go, let me take a screenshot of the background picture. I don't have that, so okay, I've got that. Thank you.
Okay, Rick, I'm going to mute myself and go and try and sort this out. Thank you.
Okay, we've got the background image up here at least, and bear with us over the next few minutes here while we sort things out and try to get back to our regular programming.